Resuming Nerd World Order broadcast. Dynaphones connected. Initiating broadcast signal in
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, this is the Nerd World Order broadcast. I am the man that you call Dukes, and to my right, here comes the...
Booyah! What's up with your boy, Joe? What's good?
And to my other right, coming straight out of Krakoa, weighing in at 178 adamantium-laced pounds, Alfonso, X-Man, Flores.
What's happening, bubs?
This is the Nerd World Order broadcast, the official broadcast of the Nerd World Order community. Marvel has been going off the past couple of weeks. They gave us some Christmas presents dropping on December 13th, 15th. I can't keep up with it, but Marvel has given us some Christmas presents. First, they gave us Hawkeye, then they gave us Spider-Man. So let's get into X-Man. Start us off. What'd you think overall of that episode of Hawkeye?
The episode overall was, it was good. It was really good, but it was nowhere near the quality of the previous two. I enjoyed the heck out of it. You had the big reveal of the previous episode with the Kingpin coming, and then bam, there he was. I think he had a bit of a fat suit, if I read that properly. But he was also, of course, superimposing, his gravelly voice. And I don't know if you could tell, but I was looking at it, and there was like a lot of little camera tricks. And the other guy were sitting at the table. The table was like super short, and then when he stood up, and he looked like he was really overpowering that table. He's a big guy as it is, but they tried to make him a little larger than life. So pretty much, if you go back and watch that all over again, you'll notice all the little camera angles they were doing to make him look super enlarged.
X, you bring up a really excellent point, and for me, it was something that I didn't really care for. First of all, the fat suit. What were they thinking with the 80s shoulder pads? There's so much money that they get put into special effects,
right?
So much costuming, and they give us this?
They had to save the money for the arrows.
Bro, they couldn't CGI it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what they're going to do, when they use them again, I guess. I don't know.
I think I read that D'Onofrio, that was a request of his. He wanted to wear the suit. So, it's like a big star like that. You want to come back to our show? Sure, you do whatever you want.
Okay, blame him then.
So let me get this straight, okay? Eddie Murphy gave us Nutty Professor. He gave
Norbit.
us and Norbit, right? A family full of fat people, excellently executed by one man. Now, I'm willing to say that Vincent D'Onofrio is a better actor than Eddie Murphy. That's just, damn it, Disney.
They should have called over to Henson Studio. Kermit the Frog this.
Dude, so I was watching, the old school Spider-Man TV show that's on the Disney Plus.
Yes.
Right.
And Kingpin's in it, and I was just like, why don't they make him look like that? He's just like a big fat dude with only 3% muscle or 3% body fat or something.
I was reading up on that where he's not a mutant or he doesn't have any superpowers, but he looks like he's fat, but it's all muscle, So.
Yeah.
He's like one of those corn-fed boys, from the farm.
What if Vincent said, "Hey, I want a big suit to make me look big, but I still want to look like I'm in shape." Even though he's wearing this suit, he still looks like he's in good shape. He actually looked in better shape than he did in a Daredevil.
Which is horrible. That would be like Tom Holland saying, "I want to be Spider-Man, but I don't want to wear like a red and blue suit." That's your character, bro. That's your character, okay? We're paying you to look a certain way. Period.
Well, there's some of the source material where he's fighting ninjas, he's fighting sumos, he's fighting samurai, and he's got no shirt on, that big sumo diaper, and he's still his arms are ridiculous. He's still got this buff chest, and he's got the gut, but it's still got a six pack over it. I guess a 6 kegger.
So we're like 5 minutes into the broadcast, and already I found something to complain about.
Wasn't my favorite, but I still loved it. It did tie everything together really well. I think I didn't really have too much complaints about that. My biggest complaint though through this was D'Onofrio as Kingpin. I really expected him just knock it out of the park, and he was there bunting.
His dialogue was very poorly written.
Right.
Like when he was signing and he was talking to Maya, and I don't know what he was going for when he was saying like, I love you, but I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
And I just did a better job than he did, X-Man.
Yes, you did.
Well, he was supposed to be like his niece. You know what I mean? Like obviously
Yeah.
he was there since she was like 5. So that's
yeah.
that's why he says I love you. You know what I mean? Because he practically almost raised her with the dad, right?
Right.
Which I kind of thought was odd. He's just going to disappear and then the Kingpin's going to take her home. I thought that was kind of weird.
Did you get that from digging into the source material, or is that something they implied on the show?
I just watched it. I mean, that's
Yeah,
something that I just saw from me watching it.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Yeah, because when she was practicing karate,
That was him.
the dad kneeled down and says, "Your uncle's going to take you home," and he's like, "Good girl."
I feel like this is one of those times where, because I tried to watch the entire series on the Samsung S10,
Yeah.
I completely missed that. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, she was like, what, maybe 10?
Yeah,
It looked like
something
maybe
that.
10. And so when, you know what I mean? So he's been there the whole time. And you got to remember, Kingpin's a very devious dude who plans ahead. He doesn't think about now. He thinks about the future. So he already knew he had something going with her being a deadly weapon. So he was just there to groom her to be the person that he needs to go do some damage.
Right.
And to open that up is to kill her dad, right? You kill her dad, and all of a sudden she's becoming the vengeful person that's going around. So Kingpin knows what he's doing.
And I bet you after the dad died, he took on more of a father role.
Oh yeah,
And
well,
he's
definitely.
like, it's just like sharpening that sword.
Mhm.
That's what he was doing with her the whole time. Like he says he loves her, but she's
Yeah.
nothing more than a tool for him.
And plus, like that's what he did in the comics as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But in the comics, he blamed Daredevil. Yeah. So I mean, if you know, I guess the comics, then you can see why he would say that, and it's believable. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's exactly what he does in the comics.
I would say it would be believable if the lines were delivered in a believable manner.
But I also think, like, if he had better CGI and it didn't look like that, maybe you'd be more inclined to think, well, maybe he did pretty good. But because of the way he looks, it's just throwing everything off.
Yeah,
I think because his suit wasn't there, you don't believe anything he's doing anyways, because you think he doesn't look the part.
What I would say though is, I mean, let's put Kingpin aside, because it was a pretty damn good episode. Otherwise, I mean, the conversations, of course, between the new Hawkeye and Yelena were just amazing. They fight and then they comment on their fight, like, oh, that little flippy thing you did was really good. Oh yeah, I like the way and then they get in the elevator and she goes and tries to push all the buttons. Next thing you know, they're fighting again, and then she gets them all pushed like the little kid in the elevator, and she's like, oh, this is so annoying.
I think Yelena saved the show.
Yeah,
I agree.
think when she came in, it elevated the energy of the show.
Yeah, I forgot about Scarlett Johansson. That's how good she was. You know what I mean? Because I'm a huge fan of Scarlett. But when she came in, Yelena, I was like, all right, cool. I buy it, dude. You're the Black Widow. You can be with it. You can be an Avengers, Young Avengers, whatever you want to be. I'm for it. I'm like, you sound like Groot from time to time, but hey, I was still into it. You know, and then the chemistry between her and Kate Bishop was really good, dude. I was like, I want to see those two have a Disney Plus series, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I could the whole thing was like, you had Clint and you had Natasha, right? The friendship. One shoots arrows, the other one's like, like an assassin. And the same thing with Yelena and Kate Bishop. It's the same dynamic.
Right.
And so, like, I can see them going down that path where they become best friends. Even though in the comics it was Kate Bishop and then, Ant-Man's, I don't know his daughter's name. But they're best friends in the casting. They're best friends in the comics. But Marvel, they always switch it up. But
I think based on the fan approval of that dynamic, they could definitely move in that direction. Whether it's because, at this point, Yelena might be in Thunderbolts. Kate Bishop are both being lined up for the Young Avengers, but I wonder if they couldn't just spin it a little bit and add Yelena into the Young Avengers since that chemistry is there. Yeah, I'd go for it.
Yeah, they could totally do that.
It just reminded me of that line where she's like, "Stop making me trying to like you."
Right? And the whole time, all of us watching and going, "Oh, we love her."
Yeah.
So much.
Just the whole macaroni, she's just eating it. I love the hot sauce, and she's just eating, and she's just like so casual about it. She can kill people, and she's so casual.
I like when she was like, I got hungry. That fight was so long.
Was it just me, or did you don't really care too much about Echo?
You could have completely left her out.
Her silence really spoke volumes against her. I mean, if she, we understand that she's deaf. I think she still should have worded the words, because I think it would have made people like relate to her a little more, because she was just so cold and offset. And I know that's how the character is, but her just only signing, I think that kind of took away,
The only reason they brought her in was to set up the Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, her storyline was just so unnecessary,
Right. I think you bring her in. Also, there's rumors of her show Daredevil's going to be on there.
Nice.
I would go for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's another way to bring in Daredevil, right?
Yeah. Would you guys want to see Daredevil in the next Spider-Man movie?
Oh yeah. Yeah, those two work so well together in the comics. I mean, you could tell that they're going to even have a good dynamic in the movie. He's a really good lawyer.
When I was watching Spider-Man, when the reason why a lot of people were saying that Spider-Man didn't know who Daredevil was is because when the Netflix series took place and Kingpin was coming into the power, they're saying that happened within the blimp.
That's genius.
Right. And so that's how you say that's kind of there, but it changes because, everybody comes back. Most of the people that came back from the blimp.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why Spider-Man doesn't really know who Daredevil is.
That's really smart.
Yeah. They could just fold that whole universe right into the blip.
Right.
Oh, speaking of the blip, that was one thing. I don't know if we mentioned it last time, but this is the first time you got to see the blip from the person's perspective. Like when Yelena, she blipped, and all of a sudden, like the paint around her in the bathroom changes. Like we've seen people pop in and like, what the heck's going on? But for her, it was instantaneous. And we didn't, I don't know if I never really got that from everybody else blipping back, but for her, it was instantaneous. Like, I'm here, I'm still here. What just happened? This whole room changed. So now it's like you think about it from other people's perspective, especially those who are riding in airplanes or helicopters.
What'd you guys think of the fight on the ice rink in Hawkeye?
It was a lot of fun. It was nice to see them, together like that. They were working cohesively, like him and Black Widow. And there was even one part where he says, give them hell. And that was a line that he only would say to Natasha. And, it was beautiful, man. Some of it was a little hokey, but it was a lot of fun, all the trick arrows. And you realize as soon as he put on the blue PIM particle tip that the last one was red, and that's why the arrow grew. And then like this one, when he shot it off, and those guys in the van shrunk, and the owl came and took him away. It's like, dang, dude, like you're giving Kate Bishop's mom so much crap about killing one guy, but they're over here murdering guys left and right. The owl took two away that they shrunk. Surely ate them, It's like they murdered all these people, but no, Mom, you tried to make my life better by taking care of Dad's debt, and you happened to kill an old man who was going to die anyways in the process. But you know what? You're going to jail, all right? Because that's wrong.
Yeah, there was a TikTok about that, like
Yeah.
and I think his name Straw Hat Goofy was like commenting on it, like
Yep.
every Avenger has killed somebody, you know what I mean? And you're getting on Ronin, who killed nothing but mafia and mobsters and yakuza,
Right.
you know what I mean? And then her mom was killing, like it or not, he's 90 years old, but he's an innocent man. He had no reason to die, and who knows? She probably was killing a bunch of other people as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Where Kate and him is just killing, just, did you notice like at the end of episode 5, he had given her the arrow, like he's passing the torch, and she grabbed the arrow and put it in the arrowhead. That was pretty cool.
Right.
But just like he goes from like doesn't want another partner because he's so afraid of losing somebody else to now the way he's fighting with Kate Bishop was like he's like with Natasha again, so he can relive what it's like to have someone that has his back. And I thought that was pretty cool.
I agree. I felt like it was full circle. It was a really good opportunity to show someone's journey that started with Endgame, or maybe before that, when they became friends, but still started with Endgame, and he comes full circle. And even if he's not Hawkeye for a while, that passing the torch, to your point, Joe, was just so perfect the way that they put that all together.
Here's another thing, dude. Check this out, man. So they say the Hawkeye doesn't have that many ratings, right? You know why, bro? I was thinking about this. You know why? It's because this has nothing to do with where Marvel is going. Think about this. Besides the Echo, and we talked about the Kingpin and Daredevil, it doesn't give you any clues for any future films that are coming out. If you look at the other ones that have come before, the other series before that, like WandaVision deals with, that's going to tie into Doctor Strange, right? And Falcon and Winter Soldiers, it's going to tie into like future, Phase 4. Hawkeye has nothing to do with anything with Phase 4 other than a good story. And people are so selfish. If it has nothing to do with anything that pertains to Phase 4, they're like, I'm not going to waste my time with that. You know what I mean? And they're missing a good story. I mean, the dude was making arrows, trick arrows. That was cool to see that, right? Because dude just has trick arrows. But just see him build it, like taking the time. Because this dude is human. And I love this whole series. It focused on the human aspect of like, this is what humans do that don't have superpowers, that can't fly, that can't shoot anything out of their eyes or their hands. And I just thought it was a beautiful story.
Hey, Joe, that was like an 18 montage, right? Remember the 18 when they'd be like, dun, 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 and they would actually put all that stuff together?
Yeah.
I have to slightly disagree with you, Joe. See, the thing is people don't know what's going to connect together, and they're not willing to go through the journey. And then later on, boom, something hits you. Okay. We're going to discuss Spider-Man in a little bit, right? But what if? Oh my gosh. If you didn't watch What If, then what you saw in the after credits probably didn't make sense to you. But if you sat through What If, which most people didn't, you're not saying holy rabbits at that after credits, right? But to your point, Joe, like people are like, oh, it's not going to tie in, so I shouldn't watch it. But you don't know. That's my thing. That's why I watch everything. Okay. I sat through them after credits of Hawkeye, just waiting for something to happen. Okay. I was like, they're going to do something. They can't just give me this musical. They're going to do something. And yes, I was pissed. But what if that musical becomes an important part of like Cap 4?
That's not, dude. But dude, even watching What If, you knew if you keep watching, it's gonna do something. Same with WandaVision. Hawkeye, that they're not gonna do anything, bro. They're not. But you knew What If you're watching it, because dude, it started off and you're like this. Dude, the first time I watched the episode, I was like, how is this gonna tie to it? Because you just know it is. You just know. And exactly what happened when you saw the trailer, bro. It tied into it.
Yeah. I think Hawkeye is going to give us Young Avengers. It's also going to give us Thunderbolts. And I think it gave us Echo, which to your point will give us Daredevil. And I think you mentioned previously that's going to introduce the underworld of Marvel, like the street level underworld,
right?
Like create that universe. So I think people just, put on their
comic book people, bro. Like we know that because we're the comics. If you don't read comics, you're not going to know that.
I agree 100%. I was watching two people go at it in a thread, right? And this one guy was like, oh, well, the problem is that people don't know that this relates to the comic book. And if you read the comic books, and this other guy goes, if only the people who read the comic books watched MCU movies wouldn't make any money.
This is true.
Yeah. And so that's the thing, bro, is like we watch this and we're like, we get it.
Yeah.
But the normal person does not.
But comic books are just really the blueprint of what Marvel's doing.
Oh, 100%.
You know, so we know the blueprint. We could see it. We're like, oh, suck it.
We're like
You
the
know?
Watcher.
Yeah, we're like the Watcher. We're just watching, going like this. I am the Watcher. I know what comes next in phase 4. Like everybody thinks they're the Watcher, bro. Like all over TikTok, bro. I got a theory. Yeah, so do I, bro. We all got the same theories.
Hey, before we move on, I gotta mention my boy, the swordsman. Oh my gosh, he had the best time ever. He was like, "This is our moment. This is it."
I was on the fence about the swordsman, and I'm going to turn it over to X because I know X knows the swordsman very well. He's a villain, right?
In the comics, he's a villain.
Yep.
I don't know if that's going to be the case. I mean, it could be because it's like Kate Bishop's mom needed a heavy, and Armand Duquesne did die from a sword wound. So I mean, it's possible. It's possible, and I could see him coming back in Echo. I could see him coming back in Hawkeye 2 if there's ever one. Or even Thunderbolts, because remember in Thunderbolts, what was it? Oh, it wasn't the swordsman. It was another guy, wasn't it? Yeah, well, never mind. I don't want to get too much into the X-Men stuff because that's deep cuts. Look it up, Fenris. They're twins. Just real quick, they have to hold hands in order to use their powers. So he had a sword that would actually shoot the powers. How do you do that without the sister? Yeah, because she died and he skinned her hand and he wrapped it around the hilt of the sword so that he could just power. Oh, man, it's ridiculous. But besides that, he was a lot of fun. Swordsman was a lot of fun in this show, man. He, constantly you're looking for him to be the bad guy, to get caught. He keeps getting away, and he keeps just smiling and laughing, like twirling his mustache. I mean, he never once twirled his mustache, but he was implying that he was twirling his mustache, right?
Yeah.
And at the end, he's like, "Oh, this is it. It is my time to shine." And he was just murdering people left and right. Didn't go to jail like Kate Bishop's mom, but he was murdering people left and right, right?
I was expecting him to be very different. And
Right.
so I was waiting for that turn where he at some point says like, haha, I'm actually bad or something like that. But he was cool. He was cool. Just not the character I was expecting.
Yeah, I think it was just a misdirect, dude. I
Yeah.
think like he throw it in, everybody knows who the swordsman is. They're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna be. When don't look at me, smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean?
I watched it again with my family on Christmas. My mother-in-law and father-in-law were here for Christmas, and they're like, "Hey, let's watch something." And like, "Oh, we already watched The Grinch. What are we gonna watch?" I go, "We should watch Hawkeye." All right, we'll give it a try. One episode. They're like, "Okay, one more." Second episode. Okay, one more. Third episode. Okay, one more. Fourth episode. Okay, we're just gonna do the rest because we're totally gonna watch this. And it was nice to see a couple 70-year-old people on the edge of their seats loving every minute of this.
Oh, and then we almost forgot, dude. Mockingbird.
Oh, Agent 19.
Yeah.
Be
Yes.
Yeah. So that was good to see.
Yeah, that was totally cool. I don't think
Yeah.
they'll go anywhere with it. I could
No.
see maybe something where, she pulls out a stick and kicks someone's butt or something. But
Because we were talking about it. Remember, it was like, she's kind of awfully too calm.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we were so bummed about, that just let you know, like, the Shield is not canon. Remember how they started off like it was part of the Marvel Universe, and then now it's not.
Well, there at the end, Shield, they started time traveling and just doing all sorts of weird stuff.
But you know what? Shield can just be another reality. I mean, this could be an alternate reality, Bobby, who is Mockingbird. There could be both of them, right? There's no reason why they couldn't. Like, Tom Holland doesn't look like Andrew Garfield. And then you got Tobey Maguire over there wondering why both of these actors are British.
Yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. It was okay. Okay, gentlemen. So we have talked a lot about this episode of Hawkeye. Any final words for the Nerd World Order?
To all your little homies, let them know, this show is where you get everything that you need to know about nerd fandom. So go tell everybody. You know what I'm saying?
This concludes this episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast. So until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order,
I am NWO.
We are NWO.
Nerds redefined.